Hey, this is Jozy103 bringing you Jozy's Sim of the Month, a series where I review simulation, city building, and survival games. For this holiday edition of Jozy's Sim of the Month, I'll be reviewing a game that has nothing to do with the holidays except for the fact that there's freezing temperatures, coal, and polar bears. And no, not the Coca-Cola kind. Dread Hunger is a social deception game developed by Slow Drive Studios and Digital Confectioners. The game went into early access on April 22, 2021, and is set to fully release on January 26, 2022. Basically, it's like Among Us on steroids. There's not much of a premise other than the fact that it's 1845, and you and your crew are about to sail through the Arctic. The goal is to make it to the end of the map before the blizzard begins. To do this, you and your crew will need to work together to gather coal to fuel the ship. You'll also need to locate nitroglycerin on the map and carefully transport it to the iceberg at the end of the map blocking your exit. There are other things you'll have to worry about, of course, such as hunger and warmth. Oh yeah, and the fact that 1 to 2 of your fellow crewmates are cannibalistic, dark magic thralls whose only goal is to stop the expedition. But we'll get to that later. The size of your crew can range from 4 to 8 players. There are 8 roles a crewmate can choose from. Each has its own unique starting equipment and passive ability. For example, the doctor starts with a meat cleaver, 1 vial of laudanum, and a healing syringe. His ability is an increased revive speed and an increase in the efficiency of healing items by a certain percentage. For those who are wondering, laudanum is a mixture of opium and alcohol. In-game, it's used to make medicine and antidotes. It seems like it cured everything in the 19th century. The percentage associated with your passive ability increases as you level up that character. Currently, the max level is 30. The other roles you can choose from are Captain, Chaplain, Cook, Engineer, Hunter, Royal Marine, and Navigator. Each person in the party must have a different role. Parties with up to 5 players will have 1 Thrall. Parties with 6 to 8 players will have 2 Thralls. This and many other settings can be customized when creating a game. To start a game, you can either join an expedition or create your own. There are currently 2 maps to choose from that vary in difficulty. When joining a game, you're transported to the host ship. Most parties choose to wait until there are 8 players before starting. Each expedition starts with a game of poker. A little random, but this gives everyone enough time to load in before the actual fun starts. Each crew member starts with 1 piece of coal in addition to their starting gear. Whoever wins the poker game will also start with a key to the chest in the captain's quarters. This chest usually contains 3 to 4 items, one of which is typically an extra piece of coal. Expeditions start with everyone on the ship. Players need to load their coal into the boiler to start it. Whoever's at the helm will take the ship as far as the starting coal will take them. Then everyone parts ways to find more coal and other resources in the surrounding land. A Thrall may choose to put their starting coal into the boiler to keep up appearances, or not. Not doing so will slow down the expedition. A Thrall can also craft gunpowder from their coal and use it to sabotage the boiler, wasting any coal that was in it. Pay attention to your crewmates. Every piece of coal counts. There's a set number of each resource on each map. Your crewmates will expect you to carry out any duties associated with your character, in addition to gathering coal. The doctor crafts medicine and antidotes, the hunter gathers meat, the cook cooks the meat, and so on. Nobody really knows what the chaplain and navigator do. They're kinda just there. As I mentioned before, there will be 1 to 2 crewmates among you that will try to ruin your expedition. These crewmates are called Thralls and have a few unique abilities. First, Thralls can cast spells using their bone charm. These spells can allow the Thrall to spirit walk, summon a group of cannibals to attack the targeted crewmate, or summon a whiteout that lasts for a set amount of time. Spirit walking makes Thralls invisible for a short period of time and increases their speed, but it won't allow them to interact with anything or anyone. Each spell has a cooldown before it can be used again. The meter in the bottom right of a Thrall's screen shows how much of a charge they have built up. The higher the charge, the more powerful the spell. For example, a cannibal attack summoned with a full charge will have more cannibals than one with a partial charge. Thralls can build totems around the map to increase their charge rate. These totems should be placed strategically though, otherwise crew members can destroy them if they find them. The second ability a Thrall has is Thrall Vision. This lets them see where everyone's located on the map. While Thrall Vision is active, Thralls are not able to move very fast and their charge meter won't increase. Finally, there are a few things that only Thralls can craft, like poison and powder kegs. Crafting is simple. You collect the resources you need for the recipe, put them in the workbench, and click on what you want to craft. Each item has its own sound effect when crafted. Thralls tend to craft away from everyone else because of this. However, some items sound similar, so it's easy to miss. Nitroglycerin, or Nitro, will be the top priority during the later stages of the game. It's always guarded by wolves or bears, so you'll need weapons or a lot of creativity. There's an armory on the ship that can only be unlocked with a 6-digit code. Crewmates will find pieces of the code while looting. A Thrall may choose not to share their numbers or give the wrong ones. I mentioned that Thralls are cannibals, but really anybody can become a cannibal if they're desperate enough. Once you become a cannibal, there's no going back. Thralls start out as cannibals and don't have a choice. Cannibals can eat regular food, but it isn't as effective. Other than that, it doesn't really affect much, and is sometimes a good strategy, as horrible as that is.
I'm not happy about it, but I ate the dog. Sorry.
When your health reaches 0, your character will be downed and only able to crawl. Other characters can take you to a bed, which will bring you back to half health. If your health reaches 0 when you're down, you'll die. Each player has 1 extra life. Once a player dies, they go to the ship's brig. Other players can use keys that they found to let them out. Thralls can let themselves out after being locked up for a certain amount of time. If you die a second time, you'll go to what looks like the spirit world. It's basically spectator mode. You can hear your living crewmates, but they can't hear you, and you're not able to interact with anything. So let's recap. After 81 hours of gameplay over the span of 1 month, here are some things that I think Slow Drive Studios does great, and some things they can work on. Pros. Stays interesting. There are only 2 maps at the moment, and the goal's always the same, but somehow each game is unique. Solid graphics. The graphics aren't hyper-realistic or anything, but they are well done. Great concept. This isn't the first social deception game ever made, but I love the twist that they put on this one. Good value. The game is still in early access, and it's only $35, but I've gotten 81 hours out of it, and I still want to play more. Cons. Font. It might seem like I'm being nitpicky, but I really have a hard time reading the font. Maybe it's because I haven't used cursive since 3rd grade. Either way, it'd be great if the font could be changed to something simpler in the settings. Hard to find a game. It has taken me at least 15 minutes to find a game before. This is probably because the games are long and the community is small since the game is still in early access. But it's still a con at the moment. First world problems, I know. Learning curve. There's still so much that this video hasn't covered about gameplay. The current tutorial only covers basic controls. It definitely takes a few hours of gameplay to begin to have a clue what you're doing. So what do I rank it? On a scale of 0 to RimWorld, Dreadhunger gets a 9 out of 10. I'm hooked and the game's only in early access. I'm very excited to see what improvements will come when the game's fully released next month. The devs have promised character customization and a new map with the release update. Let me know what you think in the comments. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe. Thanks for watching and see you next time.